state that I live in where there's a healthy social system, you know. So people who have that, it's hard to become inoculated into their world or their life or whatever you want to call it. So, and I don't like to do all that. I'm pretty much like when it comes to people around me, I'm very reserved about that. I don't like a lot of people around me. You know, I'm used to just being with my bad bitch and me, and we just doing our thing. Everybody else can blow because it's hard for me to like come down off the throne and be among the sheep. You know, I'm a lion. I can't just be among the sheep. If I choose her, it's because I think she's a lioness. And maybe she is a lioness in sheep's clothing, but I'm a lion and I can't be walking around those sheep. And most of the time, most girls can't help it. Their predicament is that they're around a bunch of sheep. Bah, you know. So anyway, we're walking arm in arm and we're going to get some ice cream. It's a nice little ice cream spot in the hotel. I forgot what it's called. I swear I can't remember it. But it's the big hotel in Copacabana, the oldest one there. And we go get some ice cream, and I'll never forget, like, again, here we go again. She's like, sit down, watch my purse. What do you want? I'll go get the ice cream. Give me money, go get the ice cream. And she did all that. You know, I'm sitting there just chilling, waiting. Come back, we had ice cream, and we talked for a little while, you know. So this is like 3 hours now, 4 hours now on a date. It's a long time. And then I was like, because she thinks she was staying up the block from me at my Airbnb. So we were going to ride back together. So I said, if you want to come over and hang out and watch some TV. I go, right, come over and hang out, watch some TV. You can come over and watch some TV for a little while. And she was like, okay, yeah, I don't have to go to work or nothing. So sure. And I was like, but we're not going to have sex. I don't think you get anything out of me. I don't know why I treated her like that, because I guess I felt like she wasn't really that attractive for me to want to come out of my pocket, you know. But she wasn't really that bad looking. It just was like at that point, I was kind of like really super duper picky, because you got to be in Brazil, because you will soon learn that you think one is great, but then the other better one comes around the corner. And one thing about Brazil, they hate when you do that. These girls don't like that. They don't like when you like, oh, she's better looking. Okay, good talking to you. They don't like that. They like to think like they won you over, and all this energy they put into you secured you, and you're theirs. They get, people said in Thailand, maybe it was me, but I don't know. They said in Thailand, girls get jealous when you bounce around. That didn't happen with me. But in Brazil, yeah, they got jealous when I bounced around. And I noticed they did a little bit in Colombia. They didn't get jealous in Colombia. They kind of like loathed me and resented me for it, because I understood I had options, or I felt like I could get anybody I wanted, or I could approach anybody I wanted. I don't know. But in Colombia, they kind of loathed and resented me for that behavior. But in Brazil, they were jealous. But in Thailand, they didn't get jealous with me about it. They didn't care. But I know in Brazil, they got jealous. Sometimes it got really like, almost like cat fights. Really, seriously. I'll tell you those stories sometime. But anyway, so we get back to the crib where I was staying at. And she's get comfortable. Unfortunately, the only TV's in the bedroom. So I tell her, go watch some TV, relax. I'll be right back. I'm going to go in the bathroom, freshen up, because it's hot. I was hot in Brazil. It's sweaty and all muggy and slimy looking, you know. So I had to go freshen up, change my clothes, you know, become comfortable. And again, I'll talk about that more, but I don't want to spoil that next video series. So anyway, I do all of that. Now, before I go any further, how many of you guys have seen the movie Trading Places? If you've seen the movie Trading Places, there's a scene where Eddie Murphy comes into his room from downstairs, and the girl hops out the bed, and she's naked, she's topless, and she goes, I've been waiting for you, Billy Ray. And he goes, I mean, you know, of course, I know Eddie Murphy wouldn't really do this, but they make him say, get out of my room. We know in real life, like, nobody ain't gonna tell that girl that. But I guess for sake of the movie, they wanted him to seem like he had to stick up his ass all of a sudden, right? So anyway, um, something like that happened, similar to that. I come out of the bathroom and I go into the room and she's underneath the covers watching TV. And I'm like, man, see, here she goes. I told her I'm not having sex with her. And then I pull the covers back and she's underneath the covers and just like her ass is out. Like she's in like a G-string. And that's one thing about Brazilian women too. They wear really sexy underwear. Dental floors, thongs, all that. So anyway, I was like, is she testing me? Is this like, am I a homosexual test, or is this like how much of an impression she's made on me test? And I was like, well, I know I'm not a homosexual, so if I don't have sex with her, I don't know. I thought some weird way about not having sex with her would be like saying I'm a homosexual, which I'm not. So I said, well, because I'm not, I gotta have sex with her because she's naked. So I was like, oh, okay. And we started making out, and it was good. We had a nice evening. She spent the night and everything, and no fee. I kid you not, no charge. And it was amazing that I discovered some things about her that I didn't know she could do, and I thought, she really blew my mind, literally. No pun intended. She really blew my mind. I'll say that. And I was like, dang, yeah. I was like, you wanna you wanna hang out with me more? And she had me right where she wanted me. I was open on her. And Bruna, she became my girlfriend for the rest of the time I was there. She come over whenever she wanted to. And I used to still do my thing. I treated her so bad. But she come over, she cleaned, she cooked for me. She really tried hard to impress me. I really, looking back on it now, I can see like she really tried hard to impress me. And then I think what disappointed her, I don't know what happened, but she got fired from the club. Like I even stopped going to the club because I had started seeing her so regularly and she wasn't charging me for sex. And I was like, I don't got to go to the club no more. I got a whole woman right here, And I really didn't want to be like, throwing a cape and take her out the club. So she would go when she felt like it, but most of the time she'd come over and spend the night and have evenings with me, sleep with me. We have sex and all that, no cost. I would, help her out with her rent and stuff, but otherwise, And then I got my apartment and she would come over there. And she came over so much, and this place wasn't guest friendly, but they thought she was my girlfriend. Well, she was my girlfriend, so, they let her up all the time. So she come over all the time, and she spent the night with me a lot. Like, we spent a lot of time together. And, I think she brung some clothes over, too, one night. She brought some clothes and stuff over. We had worked out a nice little arrangement. And I don't want to talk about how things ended, because they ended kind of weird. But anyway, she wanted me to take her traveling, and I was like, I'm here in Brazil. I'm not going to other countries, and I'm definitely not going back to America. So if that's what you're interested in, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's not why I'm here. But up to that point, man, everything was amazing with her. I had a real girlfriend. I'll never forget Bruna. And I really didn't think she looked that good, but people would tell me she was beautiful. From when I would show them her picture and say, what do you think about her? You think she's not? They say, oh my God, yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah, that girl, man, Will, you tripping. Ain't nothing wrong with that girl. I was super duper shallow on her, but she treated me so well. I do think she poisoned me one day, though. I'll talk about that some other time. I think she tried to poison me one day because that coincided with when she disappeared and all the other weird stuff that happened around my apartment. But it's a whole another topic for another day. So the point of this discussion is that I had the best dating experience in Brazil. That was one of the many dates I went on in Brazil. That one was the best one. I had a lot of dates in Brazil, but that one created a whole relationship. Like that was she's really to this day the first real girlfriend I had was in Brazil. Like my most recent real girlfriend that I had was in Brazil. Was Bruna. It's the first real girlfriend I had in like, I don't know, maybe 7 years, 8 years, you know. And that was about 3 months. No, that was about 3 weeks. I was in Brazil 3 months. So my second month, the third week of that second month, all the way till right before I almost left, we were like a couple. But I would say we were a couple. Definitely we were a couple. And it's you can always tell when a woman has feelings for you because you can say things to her. And I guess I speak in a harsh tone as a New Yorker. To them, I speak very harshly. And I remember she came in from the beach and she had got sand and water all through the whole place. And I was like, didn't you see the sign downstairs? You can't come in with beach clothes and everything. And she just looked at me like, but what's the problem? I didn't think about it like that, but I seen that as she was looking like, I'm the man. I'm like the guy. What does it matter? They're not going to do nothing to me. But I was so visibly, concerned. And I never forget, Bruna, if you hear this, I did try to reach out to her. I think I found her Instagram, but whatever it was that made her upset with me, I don't know. I don't know what I did, but I know what I did. I did a lot of shit. But I saw a lot of other girls in between her, and she knew about it. That's what she didn't like. But I would tell her, but you're the one that gets to spend the night. They don't get to spend the night. I don't sleep next to them. But I never forget my MacBook broke, and she saved the day. She saved my life with that because that was how I was making all my money. That's how I was working remote, making all my money, and she helped me find someone to fix it and talk to them. And we drove around all day trying to find somewhere to fix my MacBook. And she saw how awful I was and how I felt like my life was over because this is how I make my money. And my MacBook's broken. And what am I going to do? I couldn't even buy a new MacBook because the bank accounts I need to access, I can only access them through my computer. Yeah. Brazil is difficult. Brazil is difficult to say the least. Because I wasn't prepared for everything like I was when I went back the second time, The first time, that's why I say, I do these other videos for you guys. Because the first time I went to Brazil, I was so unprepared. Phone, bank accounts, all the stuff I didn't know you needed to have set up a certain way. I was so unprepared. So anyway, she really helped me out with that, And we laughed about that afterwards. Everything got together. Everything got fixed and was okay. We laughed about that. She even is the reason why I learned that they were cheating me on my apartment because I had her look at the lease and everything. And because she spoke English, she was able to explain to me. You see, the thing about it is you need someone in these countries that speaks English because you're never going to learn what's going on. They really got some different partitions going on in these countries. And if you don't know the language, they're not going to be fair with you. And you don't know what's going on. My whole lease was in Portuguese. I didn't know what the fuck it meant. I just signed it, paid the rent, and went about my business. But she explained to me that it wasn't a proper lease and some things in it were questionable and I should challenge them. And definitely they were overcharging me and trying to take advantage of me. So she definitely pointed that out to me. And that was very helpful. So, but anyway, yeah, back to the date. So the date definitely hit that Billy Ray moment for me. I call it the Billy Ray moment, and I tell that joke to everyone all the time. And that's what I mean. Like, that's how a typical date should go for me. Well, in reality, like I said, as a red pill, it does go like that in America. Dates do go like that in America, just not for certain men. Now, people will say it's a generalized thing. It's not attributed to certain immutable characteristics such as ethnicity or age or body type, things like that. But I beg to differ. My objective research shows that it's only African American men who are experiencing what I like to say the short end of the stick or the lackluster of the healthy social dating system. And one way I can prove that is simply by just saying that you don't see any other women on YouTube talking about they gotta have a black man. But you would see black women on YouTube talking about they gotta have a white man. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see women of other races denouncing their men. That's how you know it's only attributed to us. Part of the game is to make African American men think that it's a generalized thing, so that by the time we catch up and realize what it really is, what's really being done and what's really going on, like a lot of us already know what's going on and what's being done, but by the time the rest of you catch up, it'll be too late. Because, so don't believe the hype. Like, there's no such thing as incels. Think about it. They started this thing about incels, white boys who couldn't find sex, which is bullshit. But anyway, they started that thing about white boys who couldn't find sex. And how they had to get plastic surgery because they were so ugly that there was nothing they could do. So they had to get plastic surgery. And where did that go? What happened to that? You know what I'm saying? What happened to MGTOW? Men going their own way. What happened to that? Notice how all those disappeared? And what did they get replaced with? Passport bros, which really another word for black men who travel, as we know, right? Or African American men who travel, as we know, right? And pretty much that's it. And they disappeared. They switched back over to us. Why? Because they weren't gonna let themselves. The Caucasian Americans were not going to let their boys be without women. I can tell you, I see it every day. I've been in a state where nobody's single. You come here single, but you ain't gonna find nobody here single. And definitely not no one who's worth anything. So, and that's on both sides of the coin, for male and females. You know what I'm saying? So that's how important it is to have a significant other, to have a companion. They say it's not a lot of eligible black men in America. I would say that's bullshit. Another lie, right? It's definitely not a lot of eligible women. There's definitely not a lot of eligible black women in America, African American women in America, because the first thing a woman has to have in order to be eligible is she has to be single and childless, okay? So single mother is not an eligible woman. So I don't know who told them that. I don't know where that came from, right? That's some new shit that they just came up with, right? So you see how they make things that you have to accept that you don't have to accept? And so what happens? You leave the country. I told you, I went to other countries, yeah. These women got kids. I don't accept that. I don't accept any woman with kids, to be honest with you. And I'll talk about that in another video. But the point is that this is really an attack on African American men. It's not an attack on anybody else. So, but I don't want to bore you guys with that tough. But anyway, yeah, Brazil had the best dating experiences of all the countries I've been to. And I think about it every day. And who knows, I don't know, maybe I'll get up the nerve to return. But between the kidnapping attempts on my life when I was there the first time and the second time, oh my God, you want to talk about that? You know, between all the bullshit that goes on in that country towards someone like me, I think I'm good. I'm good on Brazil. I think I'm good. But yeah, they do have the best women when it comes to having a girlfriend. You will meet a real girlfriend in Brazil. That I can't denounce. Everything else in Brazil is not real. All the girls don't look like that. That's a small subset of the girls, of the women. All the women that aren't that extremely gorgeous. It's a small subset of women. More Colombian women are gorgeous across the board in comparison to the ones that they say exist in Brazil. So, you know, more of those women exist in Brazil. More of those women, more gorgeous women exist in Colombia in comparison to what they show you in Brazil. In Brazil, there's not that many gorgeous women in the regions that tourists exist in. At least for me, what I learned, you know, being in Copacabana and Tijuca. But in but in Colombia, there's more gorgeous women. Every city I went to was like Bad Bitch Parade, you know, from Cartagena to Barranquilla to Oh My God Medellin. That's what I'm going to call it. Oh My God Medellin. OMG Medellin. I'm going to get the t-shirts made. You can buy them from me because when I went there, they was in line about that. And I already knew pies were the shit. Don't ask me how I know, but I already knew pies were the shit, you know. And so I don't know how